Let's break down the West Philippine Sea. It's the part of the South China Sea right off the Philippines' western coast. Think of it as the country's watery front yard. This isn't just any ocean patch, it's a global shipping superhighway, with a third of world trade passing through. If trouble brews here, the global supply chain feels it. For Filipinos, these waters are a lifeline, feeding families, supporting communities, and shaping national identity. The sea is rich in fish, and possibly sits atop huge oil and gas reserves, a potential economic game changer. So it's vital for the world, crucial for the Philippines, and possibly an energy jackpot. But here's the catch: ownership isn't clear-cut. China claims much of this sea as its own. Using old maps and bold lines, the Philippines sees it as their territory, defined by international law. China sees it as a piece of their historical puzzle. This clash over resources, identity, and power is why the West Philippine Sea is a global flashpoint. It's a neighborhood dispute, but the neighbors are countries, and the fence is an invisible line in the ocean. The stakes: food, energy, and peace in the region. That's why the world is watching, and why this story matters to all of us. Why does China care so much about these waters? Their claim is based on old maps and stories, leading to the infamous 9-dash line that swallows up most of the South China Sea. It's like circling the whole dessert table at a party and calling it yours because your ancestor once saw a cupcake. But it's not just about history. China wants the sea's resources. Oil, gas, and fish are vital for their massive population and economy. Controlling these means more power and security for China. There's also a military angle. China has built artificial islands, turning reefs into bases with airstrips and harbors. These outposts let China project power and monitor one of the world's busiest trade routes. The 9-dash line is their justification, resources are the prize, and the islands are their tools. This has led to tense standoffs, with Chinese ships blocking Filipino fishermen. It's not just about pride, it's a long-term strategy. China's actions are reshaping the region, and the world is taking notice. The result? Constant friction and a high-stakes game in the open sea. The West Philippine Sea is now a test of power, law, and resolve. And the tension isn't going away anytime soon. Isn't there a rule book for this? Yes. UNCLOS, the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Both China and the Philippines signed it. It gives countries rights to resources within 200 nautical miles of their coast, the Exclusive Economic Zone, or EEZ. Most disputed areas are well within the Philippines' EEZ. The Philippines took China to court in The Hague in 2013. In 2016, the court ruled China's 9-dash line has no legal basis. The Philippines won, at least on paper. But China dismissed the ruling, calling it waste paper, and ignored it. So, what happens when a superpower just says no? The US, Japan, Australia, and the EU support the ruling and freedom of navigation. The US Navy regularly sails through to challenge China's claims. But statements and patrols haven't stopped China's expansion or harassment of Filipino vessels. The law is clear, but enforcement is another story. The standoff continues, with the world watching closely. It's David versus Goliath. China's massive navy against the Philippines' smaller forces. The Philippines can't match China militarily, so alliances matter. The US-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty is a key deterrent, making China think twice before escalating. Partnerships with Japan, Australia, and ASEAN nations help build a united front. But nobody wants war. Conflict here would be disastrous for everyone. That's why diplomacy is crucial. Negotiation, cooperation on fisheries and the environment, and building trust are the best paths forward. The Philippines must be smart, using its alliances and legal win. China, if it wants to lead, must respect rules and neighbors. The world must stay engaged and support a rules-based order. There's hope for peace, but it takes patience and courage. The goal, a stable, lawful, and prosperous region for all. The West Philippine Sea's future depends on choices made now. Cooperation beats conflict, every time.